Welcome back, guys. Today we're doing one of my favorite haircuts, the burst fade. I know this can be confusing, but I want you to see it simple. A burst fade is just a curve. Think of it like a small rainbow wrapping around the ear, right? If you can see that rainbow shaped fade, you can control the haircut. Now, I am going to start with my baseline. This line is everything, guys. The way you draw this line is the exact shape your fade will follow. So I'm creating that C shape, that rainbow, and I'm being careful not to take it too far back because he does want that V in the back. I'm visualizing about 2 to 3 fingers of fade space so I don't eat into that dark area. Now I'm going in with the number 3 close to debulk, and right here I am being very careful not to eat into the top, especially around the parietal ridge where the head starts to round. I don't want to create more roundness up there. I'm trying to preserve that corner. I'm protecting that shape, right? So as I'm going up, I'm almost building a wall. I'm removing bulk, but I'm leaving the structure. That top area needs to stay strong so the fade has something dark to blend into. Now to set my first fade guideline at the bottom with the half guard closed, this guideline should be about half the size of what I'm going to take up with the 1.5. So if you just stack another guideline on top of that, the same size, that's how high I'm going to take that 1.5 with the lever closed. And this spacing or measurements, it's just simple systems that I like to follow to keep a simple structure and use it within any fade. But now moving into the 1.5, this guideline, again, like I said, I am just going to take it double the size of the 0.5 guideline. Now this 1.5 basically determines where I want that dark part of my fade to start. So anything above this guard is just basically like that darker shade of my fade, right? And anything underneath it is going to be the lighter shade. But if you did notice, guys, with the 0.5 and with the 1.5, I'm still following that original rainbow shape. Everything goes back to that first line. If your foundation is clean, again, the rest just goes smoothly. And I'm speaking for mainly people that are starting or beginners or anyone that still has a hard time fading. It's just about being organized and having structure. So then eventually, once you get comfortable, with the feel of the hair, the way you flick, stuff like that, visualizing and your eye just getting better, then eventually you can find your own rhythm, your own system. I've seen people start messy and then, end up with a clean result. But again, before that, it's important to learn the fundamentals. Now, after the 1.5, I did open the lever and just glided over that guideline into the 3, to soften everything up. And then to really finalize everything and, solidify my dark area, I just moved in with my thinning shears, again, just to blend and smooth everything out. Now, most of you already know how much I use thinning shears. If you're new here, go watch my other tutorials. I break them down in detail, and I even have a full video just on thinning shears. But the breakdown is simple. When I use thinning shears, I'm not cutting for length, I'm softening. I'm taking darker areas and making them slightly lighter so everything matches. I'm not digging into the hair, I'm floating over it. Think of it like shading with a pencil. If one area looks too dark, you lightly go over it to balance it out. You're not erasing it, right? You're just blending. And that's the beauty of thinning shears. A lot of barbers struggle with indentations, certain bones poking out, or even uneven areas on the head, like my client here. What I'll do is have him flex his skin or move those muscles so those spots show more clearly. Then I'll lightly go over those darker areas. That way, even when he moves or flexes later, the fade still looks good, and it won't suddenly reveal any darker areas. But this is important. Don't dig in. The scissors should never really be pressing on the scalp. Once you start digging, that's when you create holes. Just remember, light touch, a floating motion, and just matching tones. That's it. Now to blend in the 0.5 guideline into the 1.5, normally you could use a 0.5 open and work that line out. But in this case, his hair isn't super thick. It's not weak, just not very dense. So I had to adjust. Instead of forcing the 0.5, I did go in with the 1 guard open. And I don't normally use this guard, but the 1 open gave me more control. And if it wasn't cutting enough, I just slowly close it down. And that adjustment is what helped, just blend in smoothly into the 1.5. Now, as I was moving upward towards that 1.5 area and above, I was basically creating a scooping motion. And the angle of my blade was facing more out towards me instead of digging into his skin. Just making sure I wasn't creating anything harsh. But yeah, guys, pay attention to blade angle and pressure. That's huge. The clipper should, glide sometimes, not really stab. But after blending in that section, I went underneath with my baseline with the shaver, but I don't take it all the way up, guys. Remember, leaving a little bit of stubble right under that line is, gives you a bit of wiggle room when you come back in with the 0. It makes the blend just a bit more easier for you and more forgiving for sure. Which brings up this really good question here. First, I've said this many times, starting with the trimmer might feel satisfying. It looks sharp, it feels clean, but it's not always the smartest move. Trimmer does cut deeper, creates a sharper, harsher line. A clipper, on the other hand, when you're scooping and flaking out, creates a softer foundation. And softer lines are easier to blend into. That's why I usually start with the clipper. It just makes life easier. Now, if you did start with the trimmer, it's not the end of the world. Just understand this rule. Whatever tool you use to create the guideline, you should definitely start fading it out with that same tool. If I start with the trimmer, I make sure I leave a little bit of stubble between the bald area and that line. That wiggle room is very important. It gives me space to work. From there, I'll gently tap at the line with the trimmer, light pressure, blade facing upward first, same flicking motion. If that doesn't move it, I'll turn the blade slightly towards the head and apply just a little bit more pressure. Controlled, but never digging hard enough to hurt the client. And for the record, I don't zero gap my clippers, so this method works without having to modify your tools. But again, if you want to make your fades easier long term, start with the clipper. Build something soft first. It's always easier to sharpen something soft than to soften something harsh. Now, to finalize the fade, I went back in with the 0.5 guard just to detail certain areas, and I'm using the corner of the blade here. Small controlled touches. Just refining, not doing anything crazy, but after that, I did move into shaping the V in the back. And a good reference for creating a clean V is obviously just to start in the middle. Now, I don't really show this part fully, but I've seen barbers that will use scissors as a visual guide, opening them in the center and tracing that imaginary line. Now, another method I use is referencing the ears. I'll start in the middle, then aim one side of the V towards a specific point on the ear and match that same point on the other side. It's not, perfect, just because especially if someone's ears aren't symmetrical, it can be a little thrown off, but it's a strong visual guide to keep things balanced. Now, if someone's hair is longer, I always have them sit up straight and look forward while I shape the V. That way, any hairs that stick out naturally will show themselves. If their head is tilted down the whole time, some hairs won't fall properly, and when they look up later, the shape can look uneven. You want that V to look dark and sharp from every angle. Now, his hair is growing out, so I made sure that V looked clean and defined, but after shaping it, I just took everything underneath the V and hit it with the shaver to make it pop. Then I lined him up, starting with the clipper for the soft foundation and finishing up with the trimmer, to make everything sharp. And I did lift up his hairline so you guys can see that he does have an SMP hairline. So I just simply matched the lineup to that. But after this, guys, I pretty much styled him up, kept it a little messy on top. And that was the whole cut, guys. Other than that, I appreciate you guys so much. I hope you guys found this video informative. I hope you took something from it. Please, please, please leave your questions down below. No question is a bad question. I like breaking things down and answering them in future videos. But yeah, thank you. For those of you that are new too, thank you so much. Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe. I'm gonna keep, pumping out as many videos as I can for you guys. I know sometimes I might talk a lot throughout the whole video, but it's just because, I don't want to gatekeep anything. I just want to say everything at some point, and could be a bit of a bad thing, but a good thing at the same time. But again, guys, please ask any questions. I love your guys' questions. If I don't answer it right now, in a day or two, I'm gonna answer it in like two to 3 weeks. I'm gonna answer it regardless. But yeah, guys, this was the whole haircut. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you on the next video. Peace.